Hey everyone, we got some big news out of Lucid management in the most recent quarterly earnings call that you're not going to want to miss out on. So in this video, I'm going to cover these latest updates and what it will mean or what it could mean for Lucid stock investors. So
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
let's get right into it, starting with the CEO announcing that in September they started production on the Air Pure rear-wheel drive, as they said they would do, and it's in the current process of ramping up production. Starting at just $77,400, it can charge up to 150 miles in just 12 minutes. Now, starting price of 77,400 puts it in the higher priced range of EVs overall. However, from Lucid's models, it's one of the lower priced models. Lucid is more of a luxury EV brand, as you probably already know, and so a 77,000 price is its introductory offer across its range of products. Lucid is known as some of the most innovative technology in the EV space, and so customers are now able to get into that innovative technology at just 77,400. Another thing I want to touch on is, again, this it can charge up to 150 miles in 12 minutes. Now they try to make this sound like an attractive proposition here, charging your EV 150 miles in just 12 minutes. Compare that to filling up your car with gas. In less than half that time, probably in 5 minutes, you could fill up your full tank of gas that will likely last you 2 weeks. This here is going to take you 12 minutes for 150 miles, which you're probably going to have to charge again in 2 or 3 days, depending on your commute. This is the big inconvenience factor with EVs compared with internal combustion engine. This is the gap that EVs must close in order to get mass adoption. It's just simply not going to attract mass buyers quantity wise unless they can close this gap. This is simply too inconvenient for people to spend hundreds of minutes every month charging when you can do that in less than, I would say, in 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes maximum, you can fill up all the fuel you need in your car for your commuting needs. Versus it's going to take you 12 minutes. And this is even the 12 minutes that they're talking about here is in the best case scenario. If you have a fast charger working at optimum speeds and your range is working optimally in the right weather, all of that in the best conditions, you have this 12 minutes. So, and I'm not trying to pick on Lucid here alone. This is an industry-wide problem, an industry-wide concern that they need to close this gap. So Lucid's been making progress increasing production capacity. Remember this time last year, or maybe a little bit before that, but in 2022, their main concern was production capacity for a while, and they had more customer demand than they had capacity than they could deliver on customer orders. Now it's the opposite problem. They've got enough capacity to fulfill customer demand. The problem is they don't have enough customer demand, and they're even increasing manufacturing capacity. They made history in Saudi Arabia, opening the country's first ever car manufacturing factory. Of course, you probably already know that Saudi Arabia is a major investor in Lucid, so there's a strong connection there. In the first phase, the factory has a capacity to assemble 5,000 Lucid vehicles a year, and operations are already underway. That would be close to, they're planning to produce, just a little over 8,000 vehicles this year. Adding another 5,000 capacity to that total is a big jump, especially considering they're having difficulty even meeting demand right now at the current capacity. In the third quarter, they produced 1,550 vehicles, and that doesn't include 700 vehicles which are in transit to Saudi Arabia. Now, these vehicles will enter into the final stage of assembly in Saudi Arabia. When that's finished, it will then be counted as production. The company delivered 1,457 vehicles in the third quarter, including the initial deliveries of Lucid Air under the Ministry of Finance agreement. I mentioned already that Saudi Arabia is a major investor in Lucid. The Saudi Arabia government has also agreed to purchase a significant amount of Lucid cars over the next 10 years and has an option to purchase even more. So this tepid demand from consumers, it makes it look even worse when you've got a strong government backer that's already purchasing so many of your vehicles and still your numbers are as low as they are. It makes it look that much worse. And so they are prudently adjusting their production outlook to a range of 8,000 to 8,500, down from the target of more than 10,000. And this 10,000 target was down from 12,000. So they've continuously brought down this target in 2023. And yes, that's prudent to bring down your production because customer demand just isn't there. I like that instead of continuously lowering prices to sell more units, especially if you're a luxury brand. You don't want to offer too many price cuts early in your brand development that diminishes your brand value and lessens that luxury appeal. And so I like the decision to decrease the production rather than lower prices. However, it would have been even better if customer demand was there sufficient to meet these orders. I've been saying this across the board with several EV companies, and when they spent billions of dollars in developing these companies, their optimistic forecasts are not coming to fruition. They were thinking when they build up these facilities, they're going to have this many sales and this many sales and this many sales, and it's going to be great because customers are optimistic and they're eager to transition to electric vehicles. What they're realizing is that that's not the case. Customers are not eagerly awaiting the transition to electric vehicles. They are doing so only because of the government forcing that onto customers, saying, by this year, you're going to have this many vehicles under electric vehicles, clean emissions, and all of this, and then offering thousands of dollars of incentives to customers to purchase electric vehicles. So without the government support, without the government pushing, customers are not really enthusiastic about electric vehicles for the most part, generally speaking. Car purchasers, there's a small fraction of car buyers that want electric vehicles organically, and I would say that's maybe less than 7% of all car buyers worldwide want an EV, maybe even less than that, maybe like 5% of all car buyers would prefer an EV over an internal combustion engine. The remainder, which is about 3 or 4% right now, is due to government incentives making it more attractive to purchase an electric vehicle. And the big reason I mentioned already is because of that significant gap of convenience where it takes so much longer to charge versus an internal combustion engine. And oh, by the way, electric vehicles are also more expensive. And so it's just not there yet. The technology is not there yet. It's going to take some time to develop. The government is maybe helping, but maybe they're just forcing the industry too forcefully, and that could be causing some disruptions in the industry, creating too much supply, which makes it difficult for some of the more sustainable companies to really ramp up production and really get these things going. That remains to be seen, but regardless, what is evident right now in 2023 is that demand for EVs is slowing, and that's difficult news for companies like Lucid. Although I will say, I think Lucid is making prudent decisions to decrease production in response to decreasing consumer demand. So some good news from Lucid. They've got access to Tesla's 15,000 superchargers in North America. That's going to help propel demand for Lucid cars because now customers can feel better about their charging requirements now that they can get access to Tesla superchargers. They're going to offer adapters and all this stuff. It's going to take a little while to get it all fully integrated, but going forward, that should be good news for Lucid. A questionable development from Lucid, they developed a technology feature to offer vehicle-to-vehicle charging. I don't know. I mean, you could comment down below if you could think of use cases for that, but if I'm looking at purchasing a luxury electric vehicle, one of the features I'm not looking for is to be able to use my EV to charge someone else's EV. That's not something I would even think of in my top 5 of things that I would want in my electric vehicle. This seems like wasted money, in my opinion. You could comment, let me know if I'm not seeing something here. Let me know in the comments below. Lucid reiterating that the longer you own the car, the better it can get because they can continue to add functionality over time as you own the car. They can offer software updates. That's true. They are proving that they will do that. And we'll see if they can provide these updates that truly enhance ownership. Vehicle to vehicle charging, in my opinion, does not enhance ownership all that much. So an interesting point that management was making here is that this reduction in EV demand, like industry-wide electric vehicle demand, is falling, right? And as a response to that, I just spoke about Lucid decreasing their production for this year, right? Big companies like Ford and GM also have delayed their production increases, for 2025 and 2026 because they're realizing that demand just isn't there. So management is saying that they can benefit from this by selling their technology, right? They've already proven that they can generate millions of dollars by licensing their technology with that deal with Aston Martin, right? They sold it for millions of dollars. And so if OEMs are hesitant to invest hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in developing their own technology, they could go to Lucid and say, why don't you let us license that technology, and Lucid can generate high profit margin revenue in that way. This is interesting and something that Lucid stock investors should certainly look out for. And finally, Lucid unveiled its Gravity, a 3-row 7-passenger SUV. And I saw this video with the unveiling of the SUV. I mean, it looks amazing. And that can be said of all of Lucid cars. I think Lucid has, in my opinion, the best looking EVs in the market by a wide margin. I would say second place is Rivian. Rivian cars look nice to me. Lucid, the Gravity looks amazing. It's going to start at under $80,000. This could be an interesting boost in consumer demand for Lucid vehicles. I've been saying this for Lucid cars. They've got the best technology. The cars look nice, everything, but it's just the price, I think, is what's causing people to hesitate from purchasing Lucid's cars, even though they look amazing, they look nice, they've got the best technology, the best range, all of that. It's just consumer demand for EVs overall is just not that strong, and Lucid is getting caught up in that tepid market environment. All right, so that's all I've got for the news here on Lucid. If you've gained any value from this video, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me make more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching.